Now, for everybody who's been showing mad love and support to the channel, as well as anyone new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, as well as hit that notification. You already know, notification gang. Let's get it.
No, it's levels to it. You and I know, bitch. Be humble. Bitch. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Bitch. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy 3NG. We're back again with another video. And before I start, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button so you can be alert every time I upload a video. I want to talk more about this Call of Duty World War II. Some multiplayer information came about, and I want to talk to you guys about it. Now, what we know so far, I'm a little bit excited for it because it actually brings the community together. Now, one of the biggest thing they did announce was headquarters. Headquarters basically a place where you can interact with other people, join communities, come together with other people. I think Michael Caudry also said something about there will be like this tier where I guess if you dominate in something, you will be recognized in some sort of fashion. Also, being that it's World War II, you know, I guess we will be represented with sort of like medals and badges as prestiges. So, for example, the prestige system is going to be inside headquarters as well, so that people can recognize who you are and what role you play. But also the regular prestiging, as we all are accustomed to in all Call of Duty games, I guess it'll be on our person as well, so that we can be recognized for the amount of time we played, or I guess the achievements, because you're able to see all of that. I think this is a great feature. I don't know how it's going to go about joining multiplayer modes. I guess, you know, you team up with people, and from what we saw at the reveal, it looked dope. You could join communities, possibly create a squad with people, and this works a lot for people who are not socialized in Call of Duty, who do not have like a crew to play with, and Destiny works well with that as well. I don't know all the features that are in headquarters, but I think it's going to be cool to see that if there are challenges to go about, if there's possibly like maybe little storefronts in headquarters. They haven't really specified too much details, but there's probably going to be a lot. And I mean, the only thing I can say is that it has to, like, you can't bring this type of feature in Call of Duty if you're not going to innovate amongst, like, I guess everything around it. For example, the creative class system is different in this too. So for those who are familiar with Battlefield or the old traditional Call of Duties, you would have to pick a certain infantry. So for example, in this game, I think it's called Armored Airborne, and I forgot what else, on medic or something like that. So it's not really everyone creating the same type of class, but you choose a specific faction and you create a class within that faction. It has to be bigger and better than the Pick 10 system, in my opinion. You cannot just have the traditional Pick 10 system if you're going to go about expanding this whole horizon of just a multiplayer with headquarters as well, because you want to have players recognize other players for who they are and for their achievements. And that even plays a role with the type of player or type of skill that you are. So if you are playing someone who is an assault, or if you're playing as somebody who's a medic or an airborne. And one confusing thing too is that Call of Duty hasn't had vehicles in their multiplayer in a long time. So if there is something called airborne, and that's basically specializes in aircraft warfare, does that mean that confirms anything in terms of just, I mean, even for vehicular warfare, does that confirm that there will be vehicles in multiplayer, or possibly any aircrafts in multiplayer? Like, we don't know. But I think this headquarters does bring a lot to light, because I think that was really needed, because there's no real social community on Call of Duty. You know, we all have our own private chats, but having something new and rich like this in Call of Duty, because this has been seen before in other MOBAs and other games, especially like I think Tom Clancy's The Division as well, where you was able to be in this big space with other people and socialize. And I don't think Ghost Recon Wildlands has that, but I do know that Destiny is one of the popular games that does have it, and it works very well with Destiny, but their style of it is actually different, but it works perfectly for them. As we go back to the create a class loadout, it's called Divisions, if I'm not mistaken. So it's basically allowing you to tailor your class setups. As I mentioned before, you're gonna have specific factions you can choose from to play a specific role, but I don't know how much in depth it's gonna go. I'm not too sure about that. We didn't read that much information, and the progression system is gonna be much different. Now, like I said, with something like this, because they're gonna have all the traditional modes as they stated, but they also have a new mode called War. Now, to be specific, this mode called War, it will be asymmetrical battle, basically, with different objectives to complete within both teams, or teams of different teams. And that's the confusing part, because now you question, is this still the traditional 5v5 6v6, or is it going to be a much bigger player base per match? Because headquarters doesn't also clarify, does that mean we have 20 on 20 like Battlefield type modes? It doesn't really clarify any of that. We don't know any details on that at all. But I'm interested to see what they're going to do, because I think by now you should expand player base within some of these matches. I know it can get chaotic at times, But I think if you have the proper modes, the proper map styles, the proper weapons being used, and obviously with this new headquarters system, this new create a class, divisions, rank system, I think it's going to be a great way to really socialize and engage with everybody. And I think it'll bring the multiplayer together. Now, do I think it's going to be a success? We don't know yet. We're going to have to try out the beta for ourselves, but it's still things to keep in the air, and it's still things to consider. Now, I am still interested to see how are the streaks going to work. How is the headquarters going to work involving like your personal self? Like, are you going to be in third person, first person? Will people be able to see like your sergeant, command? Because they're going to have to bust out a lot of content. There's just no way you're going to have a little bit of content to represent ranks, because there's people who grind for hours and they end up becoming the high ranks within a week. So there's got to be a system in which plays a huge role, in which has a lot of content to go around, where people can really represent who they are. And it basically shows a good like detailed description of like, all right, I accomplished this, I have this achievement, this is the type of division or rank that I enrolled in, I enlisted in. Especially if you're coming in with a group trying to go up against another group, we need to know more about headquarters. There's not enough information, but we'll probably learn in the upcoming months. And that's all the stuff I got. You know, just take what I said as well as the actual details that we learned so far, and you know, create your own, I guess, idea of what you think is going to go down with this game. Put them in the comments below. If you enjoyed what I said, if you enjoyed this video, please slap a like, subscribe as I mentioned earlier. Also hit that notification button, notification gang, you know what I'm saying? But also, I just want to say that I will have a video on the Call of Duty Nazi Zombies, which they did announce, and I have a separate video for that because there's much details on that as well. So I will be separating that. But yeah, it's your boy 3MG. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'm out of here, man. You have a blessed one. Peace.
I told you, the weather's cold, we're getting older. Things even change when it gets colder, but we'll move on just like a moment. I know you miss the sun and skies, the summer. Those were the days